Hello, I'm Kirk Livingood with Applied Risk Solutions. Today we're going to go over how to do a proper vehicle inspection. And you know, there's a lot of reasons for doing vehicle inspections, but I will tell you this, that aside from the safety aspects of making sure your vehicle is safe and what that's going to do for you, it's also going to help you save a lot of money in your maintenance cost and operating expenses for your vehicle. So if you're ready to get started, let's do it. All right, when I do a vehicle inspection, it's always easier to do it with a partner, have somebody in the vehicle. And when I've got somebody in the vehicle, this really only takes a few minutes to do. I usually start at the front of the vehicle. I'll work my way around checking everything with the exception of the tires. And then after I've done that, I come back and check the tires. So let's get started. It's actually pretty quick. All right, you got your headlights on. That's great. Can you turn your bright lights on? That's good. Turn bright lights back off. That's good. Left blinker, right blinker, hazard lights. Okay, leave those hazards on for a minute. I usually check the windshield, make sure that if there's a crack or something, that it's not obstructing the vision of the driver. And as you can see, that windshield's clear. Go ahead and hit your windshield wipers while we're here. That's good. You want to, if they've got fluid, make sure that it wipes it off. The other thing you want to do is you want to pull them up and look at the blades themselves. Make sure they're not dry rotted. Make sure they're not cracked and falling apart. It's very important to have good windshield wipers. All right, then I'll walk around to the back of the vehicle and check the hazards. Make sure they're working. Okay, you can turn the hazards off, Mitch. All right, cool. Left blinker, right blinker, brake lights. Hit your brakes. All three lights. Make sure all three of them are working. That's critical. Okay, great. And usually I come up to the front here, check the mirror, side mirror, rear view mirror. Then come up and check the side mirror, the rear view mirror, the other side mirror. Always look to see if there's a radar detector. Shouldn't be, nobody should be having those. If they have GPS or if they use their phones for navigating, real critical that you check and make sure they've got a hands-free dash-mounted device. It's very critical from a safety standpoint to not be using your phone with your hands or looking at your phone with your hands, whether you're doing GPS or calling or texting or anything. So at this point, do you have an accident reporting kit?
I do, right here.
All right, cool. It's very important that you have this with you, because if you don't have it, you're going to get in a crash and you're not going to know what to do. We'll do a quick video on that in just a little while. And how about your insurance card? Great. Very good. Now on the insurance card, a couple of things you really want to pay attention to. One, you want to look at the expiration date. This expires on 2/5/17, so it's still good. This is still January of 17, so we've got another month. And who is the insured? If the driver is not the insured, okay, or they're not listed in here, then they need to have permission from the owner, or possibly they could be listed on the deck page as a covered driver. But it's very important that you make sure that the person driving the vehicle is actually the named insured, or they have permission to drive. It's critical. Hi, my name's Kirk, and again, here we are with the tires. A couple of things you want to look at with your tires. First, you want to make sure they all have lug nuts. You want to look at the sidewall of the tire, okay? And the critical thing here is you want to make sure you don't have any cuts. You don't want to have any bulges where you got like bubbles coming out, or any big any damage to the sidewall. The rubber is very thin here, and it doesn't take much of something going on in this area to mess you up. The other thing, if you ever drive around with your tire underinflated, the tire starts to wear on this area right here, and sometimes you can only go just a few miles when you're way underinflated, and you start to damage this part of the tire, and then the whole tire is shot. So it's critical that you maintain the correct inflation pressure for your tires. Typically on a vehicle, if you go to the driver's side door and open it up, on the panel of the vehicle, you can see what the air pressure should be for your tires. Often it's different from the front to back, but if you look on almost all vehicles, you'll have your front, and in this particular vehicle, you got 35 psi for the front tire, and the rear is also at 35. So you should have 35 psi is the ideal pressure. Now, something interesting about tires is typically they lose about 1 to 2 psi per month just sitting around. So if you never checked your tires over a 3-month, 4-month period of time, the pressure is going to drop 3 to 4 psi. And that's if you're under stable temperatures. As you get into the winter months, it's going to drop even more as it gets colder. So back to the tires. Typically, you can look at the tire. If you get used to looking at them, you can tell if they're going to be low or not. If you don't have the experience to do that, a little tire gauge is pretty cheap. You can get them for a few dollars. And basically, plug it in there, hold it, and right there I'm exactly 35. So, inflation is good. The next thing you want to look at is going to be your tread. And this is critical because when your tread starts to get too low, if you get into any type of rain situations or anything like that, you have a very, very severe in danger of hydroplaning, which are some of the most severe types of crashes that people have. You lose complete and total control of your vehicle, and at that point, you don't know what's going to happen. You could end up hitting a fixed object, a tree, or another vehicle, another lane. At 2/32 of an inch of tread, okay, measured from the bottom of the floor up to here, at that point you've got to replace your tires. Now, a tread depth gauge can be purchased for a few dollars at any auto parts store, and it measures in 32 of an inch. So you just put it on here, you push it down, and then you read it right here, and as you can see right here, I'm right at 8/32 of an inch, okay, which is plenty of tread. When you get down to like 2/32, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. 2/32 is, and I'm just looking at my gauge here, trying to get as close as I can. Right about there. That's, 2/32. A quick way you can check tires to determine if, you got adequate tread, of course, you look at that and you say, that's plenty. But if you look at this area right here in the tire, this is what's known as a tread bar, okay, or a wear bar, okay? And from this top of the wear bar to the floor of the groove is 2/32, okay? So if you run your finger across the tread, find one of these wear bars, because they're spaced on here. You can see I got one here and I've got one here. But if you find one and you run your finger across the tread, as long as you feel a nice drop down onto that wear bar, you're okay. Okay, you don't have to change them right now. But once that tread is even with this wear bar, you're not going to channel water properly. And you're going to have a bad crash in a rainstorm, and you're going to total your car or injure somebody, or something bad's going to happen. So that's just absolutely critical to maintain good tread on your vehicle, on your tires, and make sure that they're safe. The other thing you have to be careful about with tires is some people buy used tires, and I strongly recommend not doing that. It's really a waste of money because typically people that are selling used tires, often they'll take advantage of you and sell you tires that are really old. But if you're going to buy used tires, do not buy tires that are more than a couple of years old, okay? Once you get past about 3 years on the age of tires, the rubber becomes very brittle, dry rotted, and it's going to wear out very, very quickly. A quick way to do that is you can look at a tire and you can tell if it's dry rotted because it'll have lots of little white spider cracks all in it. And the other thing, there's a DOT stamp on almost all tires. And if you find where it says DOT and go to the very end of that string of numbers and letters, there's going to be 4 numbers. The first 2 numbers are going to be the week, and the last 2 numbers are going to be the year. And this particular tire was made in, it's a 4014. I don't know if you can read that or not, but it was made in the 40th week of 2014. Okay, so this tire is only a couple years old. And as you can tell, it's not dry rot, it's in good shape. But it's not unusual that when I'll go do vehicle inspections that I find somebody that's got dry rotted tires, somebody has sold them used tires, taking advantage of their lack of understanding of this. The tires could be as many as 8, 10 years old. It looks like they've got a lot of tread, but the tires wear out extremely fast. A tire like this that was 10 years old may wear out in 8,000 miles, whereas currently right here with this amount of tread, I've probably got 30,000 miles worth of tread on this. So it's absolutely critical that you be aware of that and not buy used tires that are dry rotted and old, okay, because they're just not going to last. It's going to cost you a lot of money in the long run. There's a lot of reasons to do vehicle inspections, but I will tell you this, not maintaining the proper air pressure in your tires, if you're 2-3 psi low, it's more friction, it's more drag, you're getting worse fuel efficiency. So just keeping the air up in your tires. Rotating your tires can double the life of your tires. If you don't rotate them, you're going to wear the front ones out extremely fast. They're going to wear uneven, and you're not going to get the life out of them, so you're going to be replacing your tires much more frequently. The other thing, overinflated tires, same situation. Underinflated tire, if it's severely underinflated, you may only be able to drive a few miles down the road and it completely destroy the tire. So I always recommend people at least visually look at your tires every day, get used to what they look like. You can pick up a nail or a screw anywhere, and just walking around your car and looking at it, you'll notice, gosh, that tire is low. You can get that tire fixed for about $5-10 at the tire store. Whereas if you don't notice it and you drive on it, you're going to destroy it on the sidewall and have to buy a whole new tire for $100-150. Things like brakes. If you start hearing your brakes making a little bit of noise, brake jobs are pretty cheap. But if you wait and get your brakes done, you're going to destroy very expensive parts. It can triple to quadruple the cost of a brake job. So things like brakes, you just can't wait. You got to do them. You can't not have the time or the money to get it done, because eventually you're going to have to. And if you don't do it in a timely manner, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And I always tell people, one of the most critical things about checking your lights and stuff is that, if you like being pulled over by the police, personally, I don't. But if you like it, don't check your headlights, don't check your tail lights, don't check your tag light, don't check your blinkers, because that's one of the primary things the police will do, is it gives them a reason to pull you over at night. Personally, I check the lights on all my vehicles weekly because I don't like being pulled over, and I would say that probably 75% of the time throughout my 40 years of driving history that I've been pulled over by the police, it was to tell me that my light was out, my headlight was out, my tail light was out, and stuff like that. And so I learned a long time ago that if I maintained all my lights and just drove the speed limit and followed the rules, that I wouldn't get pulled over and potentially ticketed for something that was very preventable. So again, my name's Kirk. I'm with Applied Risk Solutions. I strongly recommend that you take care of your car, maintain it, do all the things that it says, because it really can save you a lot of money in operating cost. It can last a lot longer and really drive down your operating expenses and make things a whole lot safer for you, your family, and for everybody else that you drive around. Thanks. Take care and be safe.